All right, let's talk about the Jets. I'm going to be honest, I sound way too excited to talk about Jets football, but let's talk about it anyway. Some issues here offensively. There was a quarterback change, Fields going to Tyrod Taylor at a certain point. Let's talk about the issues and maybe what can be fixed going from here. So first, play like this, just going to be a zone coverage concept. You have a receiver who's going to run a deeper route to sort of push the defense further back. The curl route right at the first down marker can hopefully get this play to work, move the sticks, all that good stuff. Fields is going to take the snap, and this isn't a poorly executed play by the Jets at all, right? I mean, you have a player who's open kind of right around the first down marker, so, that's the value right here. Fields hit him quickly and you can get a first down. Justin Fields does not hit him quickly, waits a little bit too long. It wasn't anything major, but you know what? Sometimes that's all it takes, just that little bit of hesitation. And I think that's part of the issue. Again, it's so difficult. It's so hard to read these plays, get the ball out quickly. But ultimately, if you're waiting just that little hesitation, that does kind of feel like a thing that just happens with Fields. Is a lot of these throws are a half second late, and that's sometimes the difference in a play working and a play not working. I thought this play was kind of telling, where it's a 3rd down and 9. The Jets are at their own 4-yard line, still 4 minutes left in the game, in the half. So what do you do in this situation? Obviously, you don't want to just run it. You want to convert to first down. Well, the Jets just decide to go with a wide receiver screen, which was realistically not going to get you to first down, barring a miracle. It wasn't that sometimes teams run a screen because of the defense. They think it's going to work and get them a first down. This was not that time. It was just like, let's just run a screen to basically play field position, make it easier for our punter, so it doesn't have to punt out of the back of your own end zone. And I gotta be honest, I don't even think that's the wrong play there. I think that's maybe something I would have done if I was calling the plays. But that's kind of the problem, right? Is that's where you're at right now. You don't have a team you can trust in that spot. You had this play early on in the game where it was just a broken play. You see Fields looks as though he's, I can't tell if he, exactly what was happening. I think it's supposed to be a screen pass, perhaps, but he keeps it himself. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe a fake screen pass run. I don't know what happened there, but that didn't work out at all. Also, this sequence, which was really weird, where it's, they're down 7 points, 2nd down and 10, but only 15 seconds left in the half. So really are going to have to, try and make something happen if they're going to end up with points here. Fields takes a snap, and again, the one thing you really don't want to do is take a sack in this spot, but unfortunately, not a lot open. Fields is going to try and see if he can bide some time. Watch, he tries to get outside the pocket. If he succeeded, I'm sure he would have been able to rush and pick up some yards, but because of that, he gets sacked with around 10 seconds left. The Jets have a timeout. They elect not to use this at all, which is, to me, very bizarre, because you could have either A, called a timeout with 10 seconds left, see if you can get a play to get, out of bounds and give yourself a chance for a field goal, or B, just call a timeout with 2 seconds left and throw up a Hail Mary, right? I mean, I don't know if you would have been able to convert, but it's worth a shot, right? So very weird. Some end of half management, weird both times for Aaron Glenn in the past 2 weeks, in my opinion. So they took out Fields and put in Tyrod Taylor. And listen, I'm not even going to say I hate the decision. In fact, I like the decision. I said last week, I think it's time to move on and go with Tyrod Taylor. And these are the types of plays that I like that Taylor can bring to the table that Fields just doesn't do as good of a job at. So here it's a 3rd down and 5 situation. The Jets have a route that can work in this situation. Mason Taylor running over the middle. So that's where they're going to look. Tyrod Taylor takes the snap. So Taylor to Taylor, you see there is a bit of a window, right? Nothing crazy, but if you make this one throw well-timed, get it in the right spot, it can be a completion. And that's exactly what Taylor does. And I think it's a bit telling that when he made this play, when I was watching film, I'm like, oh, that's a nice play. It really isn't a nice play. It's a competent play, but the passing just hasn't been competent so far this season. So just having someone who can come in and read the offense and put the ball where he needs to put the ball, well, that's kind of what the Jets need right now, I think. Heading over here, this is going to be a 3rd down and 8 situation. You have a receiver who's going to go towards the sideline. So again, bit of a tough play here, but you see how this could work. Taylor's going to take the snap. The issue is with cutting right near the sticks. The corner obviously knows that could be where you're trying to throw this ball to. It's Mike Jackson, who's I think playing this pretty well. But Taylor makes a really nice throw, and they're able to pick up actually a first down on that play. It was initially ruled short. They overturned it on a challenge, pick up the first down. So these types of plays are really good. And heading over here, I'll say this. Taylor made some plays in this game. He did. 3rd down and 10. Taylor's going to take the snap. There is going to be pressure, but he's able to, right here, looks around, doesn't love what he sees, under pressure. Watch him get outside the pocket. He is going to ultimately find a blown coverage down the field. They pick up a decent chunk play. That's a good play from Taylor. That's kind of making something out of nothing, which, hey, I think that's Fields' best attribute, and you certainly would say Fields is better at that than Taylor, but Taylor did a good job on that play, and if you can add some value that way, well, that could be, maybe a way they win their first game. Although heading over here, he was not without his faults either, obviously. I mean, you look at the final score, right? Both quarterbacks were on the field for 3 points. Now, technically, Taylor took over for Justin Fields' field goal drive, but they were already in field goal range when that happened, so a little bit weird because there was an injury in the first half for a bit. Anyway, watch this play. You see, it's going to be some razzle-dazzle as the ball ends up in Tyrod Taylor's hands. He started off lined up as a wide receiver, and it was a wildcat, but then he ends up with the ball, has a receiver wide open. Here's a touchdown, make it a 3-point game, but this throw was just a bit underthrown. Didn't love how Lazard came back to that ball either, if I'm being honest. Felt like there was still a chance at that being a completion, but ultimately, as an offensive play caller, you have to be a little bit frustrated. You dial up a perfect play, and just the players can't execute. On the very next play, you see this, where they're going to look downfield again. Hey, even if that was a trick play, it got a player open downfield. Let's try this again. Again, you have a player who is open down the field, and watch what happens. J.C. Horn somehow ends up with, that's a great catch from J.C. Horn, but also if Tyrod Taylor throws that one a little earlier and gets the ball there a little bit earlier, that's a touchdown instead of a pick. So definitely a back-breaking blow in that spot when they had a real opportunity to put points on the board. So again, even if I'm saying the passing attack looks better with Tyrod Taylor, that's still not saying a ton right now. And also a play like this, I mean, this is just an issue, especially with Garrett Wilson getting banged up in this game. Like, one-on-one matchup on the outside, okay, usually you want to take it here, right? It is a guy that they are looking at as their number one option on these plays now with Garrett Wilson banged up. But this is Josh Reynolds who's running this route. I mean, listen, Josh Reynolds was a fine depth piece for the Lions, but that's really all you want him to be. So having to run your offense through him when J.C. Horn, the really good corner for the Panthers, is going up against him, this isn't good. And as you see, it's going to work out basically how you would expect. That's just your if it's like a Madden thing, it's like you're throwing up at a 78 overall player who's going up against a 95 overall player. Like it's not going to go well ever in that situation. And here it does not go well. It ends up as an interception. So again, for Tyrod Taylor, probably not a move you want to make. But also, 4.5 minutes left. You need to try and make a play, so you understand it. It's just definitely a play that did not work out. So ultimately, that's kind of where I'm at with this Jets team. I think the offense is bad, obviously. They don't have guys to throw to. And then, for once they put in Taylor, I do think it looked better because I do think he can run the offense, run the passing attack better, even if he doesn't give you those great scrambles. And so the hope is that, I mean, your goal right now, if you're on the Jets and if you're a Jets fan, is, avoid 0-17, right? You got 10 more chances to get a win. You got to make sure you get one of those in there. You don't want to be the first team to go 0-17. No one wants to be a part of that. So that's got to be the mission right now. So I think with Taylor, they at least have a chance, but that's it. I mean, it's a chance to avoid 0-17 is what we're talking about with the Jets. So those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.